Hello and thanks for staying with us. The Assistant Controller General of Nigerian Customs Service in charge of Zone A have been speaking on the CG 3-point agenda in the country. Also on Customs reports, Tinker Customs Area Controller speaks on the seizure made by his command. Plus more report. I am Egiseme Etinye. Stay tuned. The Assistant Controller General of Nigerian Customs Service in charge of Zone A has said that the current management of Nigerian Customs Service will continue to promote revenue drive by all commands all over the country. He speaks more on the 3-point agenda of the Controller General of Nigerian Customs Service.
My views concerning 3-point agenda of the Controller General is that we have already started seeing results in many areas, in many facets, from revenue collection to administration to enforcement to incentives and welfare. To restructure means to plan and to reform is to bring about changes so that you will have improvement in what you are doing. So in essence, we have started realizing that yes, the 3-point agenda of the Controller General brought so many positives to the Nigeria Customs Service. Like I said earlier, the agenda brought about some changes which made us to make our collection, a remarkable collection of 1 trillion naira, which had never been achieved before. And in administration, we are now practicing what is known as a mining level. It wasn't there before. I believe the leap was borrowed from police and army, where in police, certain class of officers are normally being posted from headquarters to specific seat, where before in custom, once you are an area controller, you are everything. But now, posting to specific seat used to come to the area from headquarters. For example, DC admin of the command used to be posted now, as well as DC revenue and the DC enforcement. These are 3 principal officers that normally assist in every command. And that, I think, has given a kind of sense of responsibility to each and every one of these DCs. So, it's application of check and balances. Their loyalty is to the area controller, but I think it is more with the headquarters, knowing well that you are assigned to cover a bit and you cannot afford not to do what is expected of you. Then going to incentives and welfare, we have seen that a lot has been made. For example, our promotion so far has been constant. There is this reward of remarkable achievements where officers were promoted for outstanding performance. A lot is being done again in the areas of accommodation. Apart from that, we enjoyed 13 months. And at the same time, something that had never happened in custom for a very long time. Last time when mass transfer was made, everybody was paid past 28 days. And people were very, very happy about that. Then the enforcement. Remarkable seizures were made at different points in the seaport, at the airport, at border post. And then, in addition to all this, we have this great innovation of where smugglers are not having it as business as usual. Because even if you take delivery of your consignment, it does not mean that you are free. You must have heard where warehouses and showrooms were embedded, where we seized vehicles, exotic ones for that matter, where millions of naira were supposed to be paid as duty, but they were smuggled. But now, I believe with that trend, a lot of smugglers are now having second thoughts.
The Assistant Controller General of Nigerian Customs Service in charge of ICT has been speaking on the NICES 2 as introduced by the management of Nigerian Customs Service. He said that the service will help customs formations all over the country to generate more revenue for the government. He made a pledge when he visited Tinkan Island Customs Command in Lagos. According to him, the program will further generate more revenue for the country. He speaks more on the program.
The message is very clear. We're in the time of restructuring custom and remodeling for ultimate performance. And the place we have started is modernizing our clearance procedure, updating our system. Because over the years we noticed that there's been some gaps, revenue leakages, certain procedures. And we are now introducing NICES 2. NICES 2 is to address those gaps. So my presence here today, because Tinkan has been the third site command, we are introducing NICES 2. So normally when you are doing this kind of implementation that has a marked difference in revenue collection, it is necessary for you to leave headquarters and come and, parley with the area controllers to actually see that what you are intended to implement is what is happening. And today we came to check that both the structures and the application that's been, introduced now to take away the legacy system is delivering as is intended. Because we did in KLT, it worked, the revenue increased, and we're in PTML, it worked, and I'm sure the area controller can attest to you that the difference, in statistical difference from the transaction that we had last year and what we have for the time of employed have improved drastically. At least we have almost about 24% or so increase in revenue that is generated within the same period comparative to last 2017.
So what will you be telling the freight forwarders operating here at Tinkan?
Yes, normally when there's change, there's always apprehension. But at the end, let me tell you, even the system we're changing from was not there before. Before we had long room, we were doing manual dissing, but now we upgraded from 2.7 to plus, and now this system, normally in IT world, system become a legacy, so you must always update it. So this is one of the, what I would tell the stakeholder, that the world is becoming a globalized digital world. So if you want to be a trader and you want to be up to the game, you must also start learning how to do new things. Right now, e-commerce is coming. People are ordering things in the comfort of their houses on internet, and they are receiving deliveries. And this trade is increasing every year. Now, the volume of trade in developed countries in e-commerce is hitting the level of almost 60 million transactions in one day. So what we are seeing, the formal trade that we are trying to update now, will gradually give way to e-commerce. And that's one of the reasons why I'm saying that we have started the projection of trying to modernize and update our system to a newer system, that is NICES 2, with the long-term vision of deploying what we call e-custom, which e-commerce is part of the module that will come under the e-commerce, a paperless environment.
You are watching the program Customs Report. The newly appointed area controller in charge of PTLM has been speaking on the program as set up by the management of Nigerian Customs Service to make sure that the port generates more revenue, as well stop all importation of contraband into the country. He also said the management of Nigerian Customs Service, we continue to make sure that all rules and regulation work in the port.
The bar has been raised by the outgoing controller, now our ACG. Therefore, we have a challenge. My officers should now do more than what they were doing. They should wake up so that we can meet that target. Otherwise, there could be a problem. We have to do more than what they were doing. I've told them they should go and look at their posts, internalize it, and act properly. Work without supervision, see how you can improve on what we are doing so that we garner more revenue for the government. We have a mandate to get enough revenue for government and do anti-smuggling functions, including facilitating trade, and to make sure there are no infractions. Then we have to do, at the same time, we do trade facilitation. This is what we have to. This is the only thing we can do for the CGC, who has reposed so much confidence in us. The last time we had our 28 days in lieu of 25 days, where we are posted in lieu of hotel accommodation, paid just to our account. Such payments are done without any rancor. Even our AIE comes that way. The man has missed way for us, and he's doing a lot day and night. Then, as officers, the only thing we can do is to encourage him, because anything we do that is not good, the press will blame it on him. So at least if we don't even want to work, because of that man, we'll do it, and because of the country Nigeria, because we need a lot of money, and they're looking up to us. So I plead with my officers. They have raised the bar with the challenge, and working with our outgoing controller. Now they have to do more. Otherwise, we'll remain at the same level. For us to parachute and go up, they must do more, definitely. And so this is what I have come to do, to make sure we are charged to increase the revenue, projection and collection, and again to make sure that the politics is coming, election. This is the time we should be more vigilant. We should be more vigilant. Many things. Then when we go to the North Sea, even we have this insecurity everywhere. The only way to stem it is to make sure, let them know that this our port is a no-go area for never-do-wells. The security factor is everybody's job. As for customs and as per this port, we should make sure it is clean and neat. We facilitate trade and generate possibly maximum revenue for government. Our focus, our mandate now is to increase the revenue. This is the only barometer to measure the performance of customs in Nigeria. Then the other things are possible things, that is this anti-smuggling thing, which definitely we are going to throw out of this place. I'm aware there's no machine outside that I will not take that. And when there are laws, implementation of rules can only guarantee effectiveness. So if there are some people want to do it, I don't mind getting some scapegoats.
The Customs Area Controller in charge of Chinkan Customs Command has impounded goods worth millions of naira from smugglers operating at the nation's seaport. He said that the seized items include tramadol and other uncustoms goods as imported into the country. He speaks more on the seizure made by his command.
You know, for every imported goods have to be accounted for. And the process of accounting for these goods will mean importers or their declarant submitting declaration. In the process, duties are paid, the consignment are selected, and then there is physical inspection. That is, there is examination of the cargo. So in the process of the examination of the cargoes, sometimes you have issues of false declaration, issues of concealment, and especially issue of false declaration and issues of concealment. So we do have the import prohibition list. We also have import prohibition list trade, and then import prohibition list absolute prohibition. So some of the containers you have seen there, like the 5x40 foot containers of second-hand clothing, they fall under the absolute prohibition list, meaning importer is no importer. Nobody is allowed to import even one piece of such item. But you can see that volume of 5x40 foot containers, falsely declared as I think electrical goods too, you know, With the case of the drugs, that is also an issue of consignment that is supposed to come with the NAFDAC regulatory requirements. Unfortunately, what we are having is it is also false. It was falsely declared as electrical good, in fact, specifically static converters. So as soon as you see this, then you know there are issues. So the penalty for false declaration is seizure. Penalty for concealment is also seizure. So in line with the extant laws, that's why we have decided to seize these goods. NISIS 2 is, we started the implementation in February, and now we are in May. So as it is, Tinkan has the opportunity of all procedures. So I think this is even the test case. The Tinkan case is the test case. So Papa is having a walkover because all the other procedures have been experimented in Tinkan, and it is working. You know, for every new thing, you can have issues here and there, which are normal teething issues. But as it is, all the issues have been resolved. So we are only exploring the other opportunity of the one-stop shop, I have said. You know, since it's a new system, if we explore that opportunity of creating an environment where issues, queries will be treated, you know, under the same roof, everybody there. So you can see that will be a gain in the system, because instead of an average importer or agent going to meet Mr. A in his office, going to the next office to meet the other unit, everything is being done and resolved in a spot.
The area controller in charge of semi-border has again impounded price worth millions of naira from smugglers operating at the nation's borderline. He said that the management of Nigerian Customs Service will continue to increase and also stopped the importation of contraband items into the country.
This CGF came as an intelligence report received from our sister agency. We spent 2 nights to trap them. You know, rainy season has started. No way for them on the road. So they now decide to go through the water. So we went and hid somewhere after their offloading and whatever they did, then we jammed them. There are many. Actually, we were able to pick. Now you can see 9 here. There are some that spoil. We have to empty it. We have about 250 bags, which we use our vehicle to convey from that CGO place to the warehouse. So presently now, we cannot determine the number of the bag of rice that are here. But I can tell you, approximately we can see 1,000 plus. We have turkey, we have vegetable oil. So that's how the CGO comes in. We have been warning them. They don't hear now, no way for road. They decide to go by water. We cannot enter the water, but we can wait for them.
And this time around, you are picking 9 vehicles with this number of CGO. What happened when your men picked them?
No, there's no any challenge because it was in the night. They don't expect that we're there. So you know, if you are not expecting somebody, so you are not ready for him. So that's why we don't have any exit on fire. Immediately discover that yes, customer around. So what they will do is now to save themselves, because if we get one of them, you know he's going to jail. So it's better for him to abandon the rice than to go to jail. So that's why we don't have any encounter with them. They run away.
So apart from the CGO of the rice, what happened to these vehicles? They want to know.
Everything is seized. If you see the rice, you also see the means of conveyance. So everything now is seized. Just last week, they evacuated 12,000 bags of rice. If you go there now, we have another getting to 3,000, plus this one now can be 3,000. I assure you, before the end of this month, this place cannot take the rice we are going to seize, because since they say they don't hear, they will not stop. We are ready for them. We are not going to stop.
What about the issue of small arms?
Small arms.
Yes, how are you coping right now?
The small arms they are talking, we are trying our best. The intelligence report we have receiving, that's what make each and every vehicle that come from outside the country to pass through the scanning. Even the dead body that has passed here must go through the scanning. So through our scanning, as presently, we did not come about any arms or this thing. We only come about drugs, some of the drugs, which when we go to warehouse, I will show you.
Yes, lastly, from this end, the issue of codeine right now. The last time we came, you were able to show us some of the seizure.
Codeine, something, amphetamine, something amphetamine. You see a very few cartons. You see a few cartons, but no, they are not few to me, because the damage they are going to do is going to be higher than the number of the cartons. So we don't care. Even if a day we are able to arrest one carton, it's an achievement. I will continue arresting them. We are not going to stop it.
Which means that these drugs are containing codeine.
Very well, very well. We gave anything we arrest, when it is, if it is drug, we have to call the NAFDAC. We give them, they will see it, then they will testify that this is what it is. We are not professional on that field, but we always consult NAFDAC. Now look at this one. There are different brands.
The management of Nigerian Customs Service, as headed by the CG of Customs, has again promoted officers throughout the country. Some of the promoted officers were later decorated by the ACG in charge of Zone A on behalf of the Controller General of Nigerian Customs Service. The newly appointed area controller in charge of Ogun State Command was also decorated with his new rank.
I believe you will agree with me now that Nigeria Customs Service has adopted progressing as our culture. We have seen it. It had been done not once, not twice. The most important thing is that present-day management has won the heart of its staff. This particular promotion is one measure that one can look at and believe that yes, what management says, it means that and nothing less. Those who found themselves to get promoted, we congratulate you. We pray to God Almighty to bless your new rank. May it be of importance and significance, not only you, but your family, to the service, to the nation, and to humanity. Promotion, particularly this one, I believe in the procedure that brought about the final list. Somebody called my attention that now Sokoto, Kebbi, Zamfara could only produce one controller, or got one controller promoted, because we see ourselves as one. While from here, I can say that there are some states with two, even within this zone. That tells you that now promotion is not on quota, it is on merit. Yes. Yes, we are all human. If it were on quota, believe you me, maybe Sokoto will go with 3, Kebbi will go with 2, and Zamfara may go with 2. At least we could have 7. But it is not so. We have seen it. A lot of deliberations were made before your name came to be. And finally, as it was submitted, the beauty of it all is as those names were submitted to the board, that was how they were admitted into promotions. Another interesting thing about this promotion was that as deliberations for those to be promoted was going on, there was this reminder that this promotion, the way it should be, we must have it at the back of our mind that somebody may get frustrated and take custom to court. He will not stop at petition. And we have seen that many times. So, in essence, promotion is a must for any organization to maintain quality of service. You need to promote your staff, to appreciate them. You need to promote them to motivate them. You need to promote in order to have a kind of competition in service delivery among your staff. And I tell you that I see this promotion with all these things, because a lot of people call to tell or to complain that I have done my best. I said, yes, your best could be the best, but I tell you it requires God's endorsement. If he does not endorse, nobody can promote you. So, as for those who are promoted, as we congratulate you, I would like to remind you that this Nigerian adage of big man, big trouble, when you are raised, when your status is raised, I tell you your problems, your challenges are equally raised.
We bring you more of the decoration as approved and the management of Nigerian Customs Service in the next edition of our program, Customs Report. For me, Igeseme Idine, thanks for watching.